The Glorious Revolution of 1688 was a pivotal event in English history, marking the overthrow of King James II of England by a union of English parliamentarians and the Dutch Prince William of Orange. This revolution was largely bloodless and is considered a critical moment in the development of constitutional monarchy and parliamentary democracy in England. By the late 17th century, England was experiencing deep political and religious tensions. King James II, a Catholic monarch who ascended to the throne in 1685, was seen as increasingly autocratic. His attempts to promote Catholicism in a predominantly Protestant nation were deeply unpopular, particularly with the Protestant-dominated English Parliament. James sought to fill key governmental, military, and academic positions with Catholics by passing the Test Acts, which barred Catholics from holding public office. This led to widespread fear that James was trying to establish Catholic absolutism and ally England closely with Catholic France. Moreover, James II's policies alienated even his previous supporters, including Anglican nobles and officials who had initially hoped he would respect England's Protestant character. His suspension of Parliament and creation of a standing army led to concerns about royal overreach. The crisis intensified in 1688 when James II's second wife, Mary of Modena, gave birth to a son, James Francis Edward Stuart, who was baptized Catholic. This raised the prospect of a Catholic dynasty, which was unacceptable to many Protestant leaders in England. Until this point, it had been assumed that James II's Protestant daughter, Mary, who was married to the Dutch Protestant Prince William of Orange, would eventually succeed him. A group of 7 prominent English nobles, known as the Immortal Seven, secretly invited William to invade England, claiming they had broad support among both political elites and the military. William had his own motivations for accepting the invitation. He was already locked in a geopolitical struggle with Catholic France under Louis XIV, and gaining control of England would strengthen his position in Europe. In November 1688, William of Orange landed in England with a relatively small force, but encountered little resistance. James II's support rapidly crumbled. Many of his officers and nobles defected to William's side, including his own daughter Anne. Faced with desertions from both his army and political allies, and seeing no viable path to maintain his throne, James attempted to flee the country in December 1688. Though initially captured, he was allowed to escape to France, where he lived in exile under the protection of Louis XIV. After James's flight, Parliament declared that James had abdicated the throne, and in February 1689, it offered the crown jointly to William and his wife Mary, making them co-monarchs. This was conditional on their acceptance of a new constitutional framework laid out in the Bill of Rights, 1689, which limited the powers of the monarchy and affirmed parliamentary sovereignty. The Bill of Rights established crucial precedents for the modern British constitutional monarchy. It prohibited the monarch from suspending laws, levying taxes without parliamentary consent, and maintaining a standing army during peacetime without Parliament's approval. The Act also confirmed the line of succession to ensure a Protestant monarchy, and established that no Catholic could sit on the English throne. The Glorious Revolution was significant for several reasons. Religious tolerance. It ended attempts to re-establish Catholicism as the dominant faith in England and ensured Protestant dominance, particularly in governance and the royal succession. The Toleration Act of 1689 granted limited religious freedoms to non-Anglican Protestants, such as dissenters, though it excluded Catholics and non-Christians. Constitutional changes. The revolution fundamentally shifted the balance of power from the monarchy to Parliament. The Bill of Rights formalized many of the principles of constitutional governance, including regular sessions of Parliament, free elections, and the right to petition the king. These ideas helped to form the basis of modern democratic governance in England and later influenced political thought in the American and French revolutions. End of divine right of kings. The Glorious Revolution effectively ended the doctrine of the divine right of kings in England. The monarchy was no longer seen as deriving its authority directly from God, but from the consent of Parliament, and, by extension, the people. This shift laid the groundwork for the principle of constitutional monarchy. The Whig and Tory divide. The Revolution also deepened the political division between the two major factions in England, the Whigs, who supported William and Mary and parliamentary supremacy, and the Tories, who had been more sympathetic to James II but eventually accepted the new constitutional order. International consequences. The Glorious Revolution had broad international consequences. It ensured that England would remain a Protestant power, aligned against Catholic France, and under William's leadership, England would play a significant role in the broader struggle against Louis XIV's ambitions in Europe, particularly in the 9 Years' War, 1688 to 1697. In conclusion, the Glorious Revolution was a crucial turning point in British history, marking the triumph of constitutional governance and the end of absolutist ambitions in the English monarchy. It established many of the political and legal foundations that underpin modern parliamentary democracies.